Welcome to the Park and Recreation Commission regular meeting of November 20th, 2025. The time is 6:02 p.m. Becky, can you please call the roll?
Yeah, Chair Sandoval,
Present.
Commissioner Cabrales,
Here.
Commissioner Emerson,
Here.
Commissioner Gutierrez,
Here.
and Commissioner Pasternak. I don't see him at this time, so we'll put him absent for now. All right, thank you.
Thank you. So we'll go ahead and call the first item, which is approval of the regular meeting minutes for October 16th. Any questions from the commissioners? And I would request a motion and a second to approve the regular meeting minutes.
I motion to approve. I'll second.
Second. Thank you. Becky, can you take roll? I think it's muted.
Was that Commissioner Cabrales that made the first motion?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, Chair Sandoval,
Yes.
Commissioner Cabrales,
Yes.
Commissioner Emerson,
Yes.
and Commissioner Gutierrez.
Yes.
All right, motion approved. Thank you.
Thank you. The public is welcome to address the commission at this time on matters not listed on the agenda that are within its jurisdiction. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to share public comment? Seeing none, I will close public comment at this time. Item 2, special presentations. No special presentations today this evening. Great. Then we'll go straight to 3, the Marin Master Gardener's annual report.
It's great to see everyone this evening. If we need to close that door anymore, we can. We've got kids out in the hallway, but wanted to welcome Patty McCauley, our program coordinator for Falkirk Cultural Center and the Community Gardens here. I'll let you take it from here and introduce our presenter this evening. And in the meantime, I'll get this loaded up.
I'd like to introduce Lillian Track. She is a Marin Master Gardener, and she oversees the succulent garden at Falkirk, which is just absolutely gorgeous. They're on a regular basis every Monday and often other days as well. She's been a Marin Master Gardener since 2019 and been helping at Falkirk for years before that. So thank you, Lillian, for all you do at Falkirk, and take it away.
So we can move to the next slide since Patty gave me such a great introduction already. For those of you who are not familiar with Marin Master Gardener, we are a UC trained volunteers, and our role is to extend research-based gardening to the general public. And Marin Master Gardeners is an offshoot or development from the land grant universities that were since the founding of our country. So we have about 300 members in Marin County, and we have 15 to 20 regular volunteers at Falkirk. And we volunteer on Mondays, generally from 10 to noon. Some of us extend it, earlier and stay later as well, because we really enjoy our work and we enjoy the community and camaraderie. So in 2024, we had over 2,900 hours that were logged specifically to Falkirk. Those are volunteer hours that we do to improve the gardens and to maintain the gardens. And there's a similar amount that's projected for 2025 based on the hours that are in our first 3 quarters. We've had a working relationship with the Falkirk Cultural Center since 2008. And since then, we've developed a series of demonstration gardens at Falkirk. So we have actually 10 demonstration gardens, and all of the demonstration gardens are with plant material that are appropriate for our Mediterranean climate. And since 2012, we've also maintained and used the historic greenhouse. And in that greenhouse, we grow some of the plants that we use to fund, the sales of which are used to fund the programs at Falkirk. So I'm in charge of the succulent garden. In 2008, the succulent garden was what you see on the left-hand side. It really wasn't much. And this photo was just taken last week when Patty asked me for the PDF. And you can see, our goal is to have something that looks beautiful year-round, but also something that provides food and habitat for our local flora and fauna. And so we try to have something that's blooming all the time so that the butterflies have food, the birds have food, and you'll see lots of lizards in our garden as well. This is the native plant garden. We actually have 2 native plant gardens at Falkirk, and we also have introduced a lot of native plantings that are outside of the dedicated native gardens. And again, this is to try to encourage people to plant appropriate plants for our Marin landscape. And native plants are obviously very appropriate for the Marin landscape. And then here's our Mediterranean garden. Again, we are in the Mediterranean climate, so these plants are very appropriate for low water usage and provide beautiful color year-round as well. Thanks. So what do we do at Falkirk? It's demonstration garden, so we're primarily maintaining the garden and also demonstrating good horticultural practices. And those good horticultural practices involve, low maintenance, low water usage. We do mulching. We try not to have anything that is an invasive plant. And we've been also working to make sure that there's a lot of signage so that people can learn about the plants that we're growing. We have quarterly in-person workshops. And again, these workshops are to raise money so that we can maintain the garden, since we are self-funded in terms of buying all of the materials and the plants that go into the garden. And some workshops that we've done, we have an annual rose pruning workshop in January. And in the springtime, we also may do a propagation workshop or workshop about native plants. And these are open to Marin Master Gardeners and to the general public. And our most recent workshop was pruning non-woody plants. And again, I think we had 6 people from the general public who came, and about 18 people who were master gardeners, and we were supported by our pruning guild, which is a guild within Marin Master Gardeners. So our 2025 accomplishments, if you guys haven't been to the garden, you should definitely go and see the garden because they are gorgeous. And we are definitely continuing our outreach with the community. And so 2 of the new outreach for this year was we've put in a new seed library. And so the general public it's like the little free libraries that people have in front of their houses. So here we stocked it with seeds that people can then take home and plant. And the idea is that this is also a way for the community to package seeds from their own garden, label it, and then put it there to share with other people. And this year we also had our second volunteer day with the Vanguard Property Group. So last year they came and volunteered, and this year they came and volunteered as well. Next. And our financials. So I mentioned before that we have plant sales. They are and workshops, and they help us to buy the materials that we need for the garden. And in 2025, we raised over $6,000 for the plant materials. And then we also have 2 plant sales that don't go directly to Falkirk, but go to the mission of Marin Master Gardeners to educate the public about home horticulture. And that's our pollinator and tomato sales. And we use the greenhouse for that purpose. And in conclusion, I just want you guys to come visit Falkirk if you have not. We have, a wonderful garden, and it's a wonderful example of how collaboration between Marin Master Gardeners and the Falkirk Cultural Center has resulted in, the beautiful things that you see here. So I'm available to answer any questions you may have about our program.
Thank you. Yeah. Any questions or comments from the commission?
I went recently. I agree. It looks great right now. I mean, it always does, but it feels very vibrant right now. So great work. And while I was there was a woman and her son wandering around. There's some, I don't know if you'd call them interpretive, but there's some signage and they were reading everything and kind of going through.
Yeah.
Yeah, just wonderful. It was beautiful. And I made a note for the annual rose pruning because I could use a refresher.
Right,
Thank you.
and it's open to the public, and we have hands-on demonstrations. So there will be a journeyman pruner who will be there, and the largest size group would be 3 people, so that you can prune with somebody giving you guidance, right as you're working on the roses. So I think that's a great way to learn, and we hope that the community will participate because, as I said, it's Marin Master Gardeners, and we're really trying to educate the public, and the demonstration gardens are a wonderful way for us to educate the public.
Can I just add real quick too? I think we've had a great relationship with the Master Gardeners, and I think the city is really appreciative of everything that they do. I mean, I think you can really clearly see through the photos that you shared the difference at Falkirk. It's really incredible the work that you've done there and the volunteer effort that's gone in. So those hours really do show up. And I think one of the things that we've heard, which I know we haven't directly talked about, but there's interest, I think, in the community maybe expanding what the Master Gardeners do. I think I've talked with our parks maintenance crew. I think there's areas in certain parks, I think particularly Girthville Park, where there's been some interest and some talk about the opportunity there to take the great model that you have and see if volunteers are interested in stewarding other areas of our parks. And so that is like very early conversation, but I share that mostly to just acknowledge the great work that you're doing and how much that does show up. People really see it. They recognize it. I think it's a really valuable contribution to the community and a great way to demonstrate what you can do. So thank you.
I would also like to point out that working with Patty, the Pruning Guild has also gone to community gardens, including the Pickleweed Community Garden, and done, I've led workshops and hands-on demonstrations so that the volunteers who are at the community center can also learn how to prune the plants that are there.
And I will also say the Marin Master Gardeners does programming at the library as well. So like the partnerships between the Master Gardeners and the city are all over our department. And very appreciated.
Yeah, is the expansion being discussed right now, or is it just kind of the ideation phase?
Ideation phase, I would say. I think we've had some initial just exploratory conversations where I think we're trying to take a look at what can we do, and would that be something that's feasible? So very early on.
Yeah.
Probably should have even brought it up at this meeting. Yeah. Well, maybe that'll inspire something to happen.
It looks beautiful. Yeah, I got married there a long time ago. And I
It's time to renew your vows.
Yes.
Thank you, man.
I think that you took that all. Yeah, the greenhouse was in sore need of restoration. So I actually love that it's become a working greenhouse. I think that's really great.
We've been very fortunate that a recent graduate of Marin Master Gardeners is a woodworker.
Mm-hmm.
And so he has been scooped up by our team, and he's been working to fix up the lath house because there were some, areas of dry rot there, and he's been, fixing it. So that's been great.
Excellent. Since there's no public, I will open and close public comment and request a motion and a second to receive this update.
I'll move to receive the update, the report.
I will second.
All right. Chair Sandoval,
Yes.
Commissioner Cabales,
Yes.
Commissioner Emerson,
Yes.
Commissioner Gutierrez,
Yes.
and Commissioner Pasternak.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Motion approved.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Welcome to stage. Thanks again for being here.
Thank you.
All right, our next item on the agenda is 3B, the annual citywide park and recreation master plan update.
So I'm going to share my screen again here. We wanted to share an annual update about the Park and Rec Master Plan. You may recall last year we brought this to you in November. I was actually looking at the dates, so it was November 21st. So we are 1 year out at this point. So great time to bring forward an update. I'm gonna walk you through a couple slides. This is gonna share similar information to what you had in the staff report. And then Catherine, at any point, feel free to jump in if there's anything that I'm missing here. So Park and Rec Master Plan. Share this as the slideshow. We adopted the plan in April 2023, just for background. There were 162 recommendations and a variety of different recommendations, the park improvement projects, policies, facility improvements, and other things that were recommended. So, just as a refresher, the plan is really a tool that we're using to evaluate criteria and how do we prioritize the work that we're doing in the near term and in the longer term. And we identified 34 near-term projects, essentially like in the first 1 to 5 years of implementing this plan. Those are the recommendations that were near term. And since we adopted the plan, we've been able to complete some of those. Of those near-term recommendations, 6 projects have been completed in full, or we're calling them substantially completed. So we're at that point where we're just wrapping the project up. 5 projects we've categorized this year as ongoing projects. So I'll share a couple of examples of what that means, but it's kind of harder to see maybe a conclusion to that type of a project. So we're just calling it ongoing work. Some of that's either policy work, training type of work. We've identified 9 projects that are currently in development or they're in progress. I'll walk through those. 7 of those projects we have not yet started, and 8 of them we're calling on hold. And what that really means for us is a project that we've either started and we've had to pause for whatever reason, or there's a reason that it's just, it's on hold for the time being, but it's still on the priority work plan. So I'll share some examples of what those projects are. These are the projects that have been completed so far to date. We have completed some fencing deficiencies around Albert Park Stadium and Field. We have evaluated some of the maintenance resources at Albert Park Stadium and working with our Public Works team. Last year in 2024, we piloted some changes to the level of maintenance that we saw at the field. That was really successful. They've continued that. And we're calling this project complete because the expectation is that we're going to continue that service level moving forward. Of course, we're always going to be adapting to any changes in future need, but we're calling that item complete because it seems to be really effective and working well. Peacock Gap Park, we just wrapped up the play area and pathway improvement project this year. One thing I will note about that is kind of separate from the project. We're calling the project complete, but we have heard from the community that there's some interest in installing a fence around the older kids' play area. So we recently released a survey to get a little more info from the community about whether there really is interest in that and what the rationale is for it. We know that there's the big issue we're seeing is dogs in the play area, as well as like dog feces and things like that. And so we wanted to take the opportunity to really consider whether we should address it now. We're still collecting survey results through the weekend, but right now it looks like about 60% in favor of installing a fence, about 40% are saying no. So kind of mixed, but leaning towards installation of a fence. So again, it's not part of the original scope of work, but wanted to share that update with you. Picklewee Park project is substantially complete. There are still some projects that we're going to be working on into early 2026. I think we talked pretty extensively about that. The park restroom, we're working on some revision to the top lot play area still needs to be completed. Still working with the contractor to resolve some of those issues. And then the Terra Linda Park and Community Center Enhancement Plan was completed this year. And last year we completed an assessment of our tennis court access program and eliminated the key system and the fees associated with that. And that's been working well to date. So those are the completed projects. The rest of the near-term recommendations we've split into recommendations related to the parks or recommendations that are more policy-based. And so this slide shows the near-term park recommendations and the current status of where we're at. So Boyd Memorial Park, there's a recommendation to evaluate the historic water cistern system for structural integrity. We added that project to our current fiscal year, the Measure A work plan. We're working with our public works team right now to develop that project a little more fully. I think we're going to be at a point this fiscal year where we'll start some of that work. We'll probably need to carry some of that over into next fiscal year, but we are in development right now for that project. Peacock Gap Park, the resurfacing of the tennis courts, as well as Freitas Park. Both of those projects, we have funding that we've allocated as the current fiscal year work plan. I think we're really scoping those out right now. I think Freitas Park in particular, we're trying to align maybe with Miller Creek School District projects. We think ours will go first, but we're still gathering some detail about the timing of that. I think it's likely that we'll be in design this year for both of these, but kind of similar to Boyd Memorial Park, we may need to do the construction in next fiscal year. So there might be some carryover into fiscal year 2027.
I think part of the the timeline that's taken us maybe longer than we would have liked is our agreement with Miller Creek School District kind of overseeing our because that school district property is from 1970s. So we're going to need to update that before we do this work. So we're kind of working through that with the school district. Yeah.
Gerstle Park have not started this project yet. You know, this is one, I think last year we shared an update that this is on the 3-year strategic plan for city council. This is going to be a big project. I think both the pathways as well as the play area. We know that there's a lot of work to be done there. And we think that that's also going to come with it a pretty hefty price tag. So we haven't started this work yet, just in part because of capacity. We're working through some of these other projects, but also because we know that we're going to need to essentially have banked enough of our Measure A funding to support the full scope of work when we get to that point. So on the plan, but we're thinking probably in the next 2 years.
What's in the city council strategic plan is that we will start design in year 3, which we're in year 1 right now. So that's, 2 years, a year and a half from now, whatever that kind of timeline.
Yeah.
And I think Craig and I were kind of looking through our, estimates of budget, and that's probably realistically the earliest we'd be able to start and feel like we wouldn't have to have a major pause between design and construction to get up enough money for it, hopefully.
So policy recommendations. Beach Park. So the recommendation here was to seek proposals for public-private partnerships. And I think, we've talked quite a bit about Beach Park over the years with the commission. Right now the park is still closed. We're continuing to explore opportunities. I think we've had some recent conversations with some developers who, at least one developer, I shouldn't say developers plural, who is interested in the potential purchase of the former Terrapin Crossroads building on potentially using Beach Park. Again, very early conversations. I think there's still a lot of exploration that would need to be done, but we're entertaining those proposals as they come our way. So we're still optimistic that something might materialize. That would be a really good fit for the city. I think that we'll continue to explore that and keep you posted if anything materializes. Pickleweed Park. Since we've completed the enhancement project, we've got the new field there. We're continuing to consider additional resources for maintenance needs long term. We know that field will need to be maintained appropriately, and we're going to have to do that in a way that we're considering the long-term replacement plan for the turf material down the line. Typical lifespan's about 8 to 10 years, sometimes longer for these types of fields. So we're continuing to develop what that plan will look like. I think we're in good shape in regards to the maintenance side of things. We've got the right supplies, the equipment out there. Our parks team have done a lot of great research other agencies and how they maintain these fields. And it's doing well at this point in time. I think we're in good shape there. We're evaluating citywide our restroom maintenance plan. That's work that's in progress. I think in the last couple of years, we've seen a decrease in reports of issues related to restroom maintenance. However, we know that there's still some parks that are really heavily utilized. And I think we're taking a look at how do we best maintain and service these facilities moving forward. So we're working closely with our public works team on that. I think that's ongoing work at this point in time. And it really also relates to, funding streams. I think over the years, historically, we've had different service levels of our public works staff that have gone in and serviced restrooms versus contracted services where we might hire someone to do that work versus other, staff in the city doing that. And I think we're trying to take a look at that collectively, like what's the right approach for the city moving forward. And it's probably going to vary park to park. I think Pickleweed Park's a great example of a park restroom that we know gets used heavily, probably 7 days a week. Gerstle Park, a restroom that gets a lot of picnic site rentals, gets a lot of use. Other parks, still get a lot of use, but maybe not quite at that level. And then there's some that maybe don't require the same service levels moving forward. This kind of relates to the tennis court resurfacing that we saw in the park section, but we want to continue to develop a system-wide tennis court resurfacing schedule. It's in development. We've had some conversations with Public Works about that. I think that some of that work may really tag into when we tackle the Freitas Park and Peacock Gap project. That might kick off kind of when the cycles start for resurfacing the other courts. It's a project that's in development. And then kind of similar to that, we're working with Public Works on a schedule for replacing the wood chips at the playgrounds. It's called 5R. We did replace some 5R in a couple of our parks this season. So Boyd Memorial Park as part of that project, Peacock Gap Park, and then at Pickleweed Park, we were able to replace the wood chips there. So made some progress on that this year, but we wanted to stay on a routine schedule to make sure that we've got the right play surfaces at the playgrounds. That may be one that becomes ongoing at some point. It will be, both of those tasks will be ongoing on a cycle. Other policy recommendations, the system-wide playground amenity replacement schedule, kind of similar. We know that all of that equipment has an expected lifespan and will wear out. So making sure we have that mapped out, we understand when we should be replacing equipment, when those expenses are going to hit. That's work that is ongoing. All of those topics really relate to our Public Works team is developing a more robust asset management program and a system that's going to help us track that. So that's work they're doing right now, and we're hoping that we can have those different assets included as part of that program. Some ongoing work is staff training to really ensure all of our library and rec team have diversity, equity, and inclusion, belonging training. That's something that has been happening the last few years, and we expect to be continuing on an ongoing basis. We're in progress with a comprehensive fee policy. Right now, we're actually working with a consultant called Barry Dunn. They're helping us do a cost recovery analysis. We expect that work to be done in early 2026. So we're making good headway on that. Anything else you'd want to share about that?
Just that it will be brought to you before it goes to council.
Yep. So expect that in early 2026. And recreation programs, services, and facilities, support through marketing efforts. We're really excited that we hired a new marketing coordinator this year. His name is Duncan, and hopefully at some point he'll come to a commission meeting. You'll get an opportunity to meet him. But if you're seeing anything on our social media pages, our Instagram, our Facebook, the newsletters that are put out, for the last few months, he has been leading those efforts. So if you like what you see, you can thank Duncan. If you have any recommendations, let us know. But we're actively working on that marketing plan, and I'm really excited about the direction we're headed. I think we're doing a better job of telling the story about the things that are happening in our community, the opportunities for people to participate, the good things that are happening in our parks and our libraries. And so this is going to be a task that is in progress and likely ongoing moving forward. So some other things that aren't showing up directly as like an itemized task or a recommendation in the master plan, we've been able to complete some ADA access improvements. Those have been incorporated in the projects. I think really anytime we're doing a physical or a capital improvement, we're going to be taking that into consideration. Anything we can do to increase accessibility is going to be important to us. But we were able to improve some of the concrete work, the ramps and the curbs at Boyd Park. At Peacock Gap Park, did some improvements as part of that project, and extensive improvements throughout Pickleweed Park, all over. Also having pretty good success with the commemorative memorial bench and picnic table program. That was a policy we updated in 2023. We've received donations from 6 donors to install benches throughout our park system. So we're excited to see those new benches go in. Our public works team is working with a couple other donors right now. So I think we're just continuing on an ongoing basis to see those requests come our way. And we're using this plan as a tool to evaluate emerging priorities. So the Boyd Park play area last year was a great example of that. The playground failed, replaced it with some interim structures. And the latest emerging priority for us is 620 Canal Street. I think we shared a couple meetings ago that city was looking to acquire the property. I'm happy to say that is a done deal. We are now the owners of 620 Canal Street as of this week. We were actually just out there earlier today. We've got the keys, so we're now we're responsible for it. And I think what that means is we need to take a look at the resources we have, and we're going to need to allocate some of those to make sure that we have site security in place, to take a look at the facility assessment and to start planning for what comes next with that property. You know, that wasn't part of the plan. That's an emerging priority. It's going to be a big project for us, and we're going to have to really consider that as we're mapping out, you know, how do we tackle the rest of the work on the work plan. So with that, I don't know, Catherine, anything else you want to add? Or?
You got it.
So any questions from the commission?
Yeah, I have a question to start us off. It's kind of related to the emerging priorities that we just talked about. And I guess it's district specific for me just because that's who I'm talking to lately. But what is the kind of avenue for community members to advocate for new projects that maybe missed the boat when we were first doing the master plan? So I have in mind like Montecito. They came and presented to us last meeting about wanting a new park, right? Like, what is the process? Is the plan self-dynamic in that way? This other thing is like Victor Jones basketball courts. I've heard recently. I don't even know if that's on our list, but
So both of those projects actually are in the master plan.
okay,
So the
there.
Montecito, there's kind of a section of the master plan that identifies deficiencies that would require brand new amenities. So through the master plan process, kind of one of the things that the community was pretty united around was when we asked, would you rather have new amenities or would you rather have us focus on repairing and maintaining what we have? It was repairing and maintaining what we have. So that was a large focus of the plan, was kind of that identification and prioritization. However, there are still new amenities that have been identified for years in the general plan, and that were reiterated in the Park and Rec master plan. Particularly, there's about 4 neighborhoods in San Rafael that are identified as park deficient, Montecito, Dominican being one of them.
Yeah.
So that is in there. It wasn't prioritized into near, medium, or long term because it's so challenging, because we don't have, if we had a great site that we could easily throw a park in, like we would have done it, right? But getting the property is challenging. I mean, that's a very built out community. It's built out or protected open space, right?
Yeah.
And then the cost of building a new park is just very large. So we have met with the Mara residents or some representatives from there. And I think that is one, if we find the right opportunity, we're supportive of bringing that forward as like, let's evaluate it. And I know that they have identified some opportunity with the school district. So I think that's a project we're planning to bring for consideration when we talk about Measure A. Just like, what's the baseline feasibility of what they're proposing? Because they are one of the few neighborhoods that is park deficient, and addressing that is important and part of the plan. And I do believe the Victor Jones Sports Court is on there, but it's a long-term
Yeah,
priority.
that's what I thought too.
Yeah.
But I didn't know about the Montecito one, so that's good.
Yeah. So it's not on those like tables that we have,
Yeah.
but it's kind of in one of the narrative sections. And that's where like we talk about ADA, and there's some other ones that are more in that narrative. That was like that last slide that Craig showed. Yeah.
And just to add, I think what you're saying too, I think 620 Canal Street is a really good example of a similar kind of emerging priority. I think, that the reason that that's feasible for us is because funding became available, a collaborative partnership materialized, the property became, available for sale. And, if something like that were to happen, Montecito, different location, I think, we would be looking at that as a similar kind of emerging priority for us. And so, I think part of your question was, how does the community advocate for or try to maybe see things get shifted to be a higher priority? I think there's a lot of reasons that might happen. I think as we're looking at our available funding streams and what kind of projects can we tackle in any given fiscal year, if new funding came our way, if a grant opportunity presented itself to try and tackle one of those projects, I think we could look at that and then reprioritize based on that. So I think one of the things we talked about too is, also trying to adhere to, this tool as a guide. We know that we prioritize some of these projects for a reason, and there's a reason we want to tackle them first. And so I want to stay true to that as much as we can, particularly from like an equity standpoint. We know certain communities and neighborhoods really need to see some of these improvements. So just because, money might materialize doesn't mean it's necessarily the thing that's going to bump it up highest on our priority list, but it's definitely a factor for sure.
I think the short answer is have them contact us, and we'll talk. We'll take the time to understand what they're asking for and to help them understand what the constraints might be, what the hurdles that they might benefit the project if they're able to help us kind of get over. I think the more feasible a project, but also considering staff capacity, and if it's just kind of like someone's pet project that's not identified anywhere as a city priority, like even if there's money, that's going to take resources away from other things. So that has to be considered.
Sure. Yeah. My other comment is just I'm happy to see the completed projects, pretty long list of completed projects. So good job to.
We are too.
Yeah. Any other questions?
So speaking to your first question, is there a plan to do ongoing surveying over a certain amount of time, every 5 years or whatever, just to make sure community priorities align with the master plan?
The timeline on the master plan is approximately 10 years. That's kind of was like, once you get to those long-term priorities, that's when you probably should we'd probably start reevaluating and do like a master plan refresh. I think if we started to see that, like, we were getting a lot of community comments that we're really starting to get pulled off track from the plan significantly, we might say, okay, well, hold on, maybe we need to reevaluate the plan. But the intent is that this is about a 10-year document. So hopefully, but we're always talking to the community. I think we're going to be doing kind of some program evaluation in the next after the intent is to do the cost recovery and then to do some program evaluation of a different focus, but it will be an opportunity for us to kind of check what we're doing and if we're meeting community needs.
And then one specific question about the Pickleweed Levee Trail part. Was that scoped as part of that? I know there was the whole Audubon and all the issues with access and all. Is that still part of that project?
That's a project that's still in progress. So the Audubon Society has proposed a levee wall that would go all the way around the new Pickleweed Park. It's the Tiscornia Marsh Habitat Restoration Project. And so there's still conversation with the city. I don't have a specific timeline for that. That's not a project that was mapped out as part of our citywide park and rec master plan, but it is a project that's still out there on the work plan. So, do you have any other updates on
My
that?
understanding is there's a bit of a funding gap they're working on, and I've heard of a few grants that they're applying for, so, but I don't have anything more solid than that. I think Public Works has kind of been taking the lead on that.
Yeah.
For the city, because it doesn't really have that much, I mean, it's adjacent to Pickleweed Park, but from a recreation program perspective, it's
Yeah.
not that, we're not that involved.
We did consider that project when we designed the Pickleweed Enhancement Project. And so if you go out there right now, the new parking lot, you kind of see there's like a little bit of an incline ramp that would connect to their project when they build the levee wall. I think if and when that project goes in, it'll raise the levee wall up and there'll be a walking path all along. And I think that will be a really cool experience. So really great views of the harbor there.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Since I missed last meeting, where in Montecito was the community recommending? Was it school district land? There's so much of it.
Yeah, so I remember
Like that's it, San Rafael and beyond.
Embarcadero, I think, right?
Behind the
behind
baseball
the-
field.
Yeah, that's my
I think it
backyard. I
was.
went down to that.
Yeah, but yeah, it's Embarcadero and.
It's just open space. Yeah, there's a lot of trees.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think that, I think the main evaluation we do is like how much space really is there in the grades
Yeah,
and
it's-
what it might
Yeah.
take to build
Yeah.
the park in
Travel.
that grade.
Yeah.
Those grades.
Yeah,
Cause
traffic and parking would be a big
I think
win for the
access-
school if somehow you could like
Yeah, I
incorporate that,
think
you know?
access, there's no sidewalks up there. So it would be an expensive project. And
Yeah.
I think that's what we would want to get our arms around is like, just how expensive would this, like, the school district is giving is like,
Oh, they're ready to give it
they're,
to.
well, I mean, they're willing to.
There's definitely
They're not
happening
gonna
with-
charge us.
Right,
for-
yeah, it would
well,
be, yeah.
it's, you know.
Yeah.
The idea is we
Yeah.
wouldn't, there wouldn't be the acquisition cost, but what would the development cost be? Like, I think that's a
Yeah.
big question mark.
And what would that agreement look like for management and use? Yeah, have to work through all those details.
Yeah.
And what amenities, I think, when we are looking at these types of park projects, like we mentioned, these projects are expensive, right? Like a playground can be, I think with a brand new, site with no infrastructure, we're talking multiple millions of dollars for probably minor amenities with the pathway improvements required. So this would be a significant unfunded project to add to the list, so.
Yeah, I don't know if that's what they were thinking of, but as a Girl Scout project, we talked about putting a parkour trail there, like doing like the different stations.
That would have to be part of the question is what level of amenities? What I have heard from that community, and I've heard from them ever since I started with San Rafael is they want a playground, right? They want somewhere for young children and young families. And that's one of the more expensive
Yeah.
things to put in.
I
So if we were to say, put in a park course and now say, oh, now you've got a park, I'm not sure that's really
Right,
what
Right.
the
It'd be good
goal
to push
is.
for the schools to have more mixed use agreements because now you can't go play at the Coleman School where you used to be able to just take your kid there. So it wasn't a playground, but it was, right?
Yeah.
Because it had
Yeah.
little kids, big kids, and it was open, like tetherball or whatever.
Yeah.
But now all the schools are really into safety and having things locked after COVID. So
Yeah, and we've had that conversation with the school district, and I think
yeah,
they're kind of selectively opening campuses based on past experience and issues, and I think Coleman was one where they were having issues with the open campus. So unfortunately,
But that's part of the master plan too, is to look for opportunities with the schools, isn't it? I think that's one of those
it's
notes.
definitely good
It
policy
is,
recommendation. But
it
it's,
is. I think there's the policy recommendation, and then there's the kind of the reality of what the school district reasonable priorities are is site safety, and they want the children coming into a campus that's clean and
But Dominican also has a lot of land too, so
Yeah,
maybe another.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm sure you've thought of all this, Catherine.
I do. I have one small question. Did the master plan, I don't recall, does it, when it was drafted, did it take into account the expectation of downtown development? Like, as a whole, it's not that many units in terms of like how many people may or may not be frequenting the parks, but I mean, it could be like 600 units in the next 6 years. Is that?
Yeah, I
don't
think
remember if
I'd have
it was-
to,
I'm sure there's some growth built in, right? But
I need to refresh my memory on what level of growth we
Yeah.
anticipated, because I don't know how much growth we anticipated, but I do know it was something we considered when we talked about.
yeah,
plan, I think it's-
remember something, yeah.
You know, it's hard to, like Catherine mentioned with a 10-year plan, like this one, I think we were really focused mostly on replacing existing amenities versus expanding or
Existing at this
increasing.
point.
And I think there is definitely, I think we're considering that moving
Yeah.
forward. And how do we make sure that we're planning to have a sufficient number of amenities to serve future growth in Santa Fe? But I wouldn't say that this plan, that was
Yeah.
really the emphasis of it. So is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I don't think it really, I mean, I can say we don't have a lot of recommendations for new
Yeah.
projects downtown. I mean, we do have a decent amount of park space within the downtown. I mean, Albert Park is one of our, and there's gonna be a lot of development here in the next 5 years, you know, Boyd, Falkirk, Gerstl's not too far away. So there is stuff. The West End is actually another one of our park deficient neighborhoods, so I think that's an area
Yeah,
that will wanna. I mean, so far, most of the development seems more central, but I could see that. So I think that's interesting. I think there's also what funding opportunities present themselves with development, so.
Any more questions, comments? No? Okay, then I will request a motion and a second to receive the report.
I'll motion to see it.
I'll second.
Second.
All right, Chair Sandoval,
Yes.
Commissioner Cabrales,
Yes.
Commissioner Emerson,
yes.
Commissioner Gutierrez,
Yes.
and Commissioner Pasternak.
Yes.
All right, motion approved. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're now at item number 3C, the selection of the chair, vice chair, and committee assignments.
All right, I'm happy to share an overview of this. This is that time of year where you all get to make some decisions about different roles. So sharing it with the staff report, I'm happy to pull up on the screen. It would be helpful to kind of walk through that as a guide, but there's a couple different things that the commission needs to decide tonight. One is the assignments for chair and vice chair. Recently the city has adopted some guidelines for boards, committees, and commissions that make that a relatively clear process. I think our recommendation is that unless there's some other extenuating circumstance, usually the vice chair would roll into the position of the chair. And then the decision for the commission would be, okay, who's the next vice chair? Usually that's based on seniority. And so I think in my staff report, I made some recommendations that align with those guidelines. Other decisions tonight would be taking a look at assignments for the Pickwood Advisory Committee. Commissioner Pasternak, I think you've been in that for 2 years, if I'm not mistaken. Typically that's a 1-year term. You've been gracious enough to do that 2 years in a row. And so that would be a decision tonight as a representative to Pickwood Advisory Committee. Happy to share a little more about that role, or you could share what your experience has been there. Right now, I think Chair Sandoval, you're the rep for Public Art Review Board, and you would still have 1 more year on that term. But I think it would be, at the pleasure of the commission, if you wanted to make any changes, there would be an opportunity to consider that if you wanted to. And then I think one new appointment that we wanted to talk a little bit about this evening is we are creating a new stakeholder committee. That's going to be focused on Albert Park Library and Community Center development. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about that role and what that would look like.
Yeah, so that's gonna be a stakeholder group of, there's gonna be representatives from 7 organizations. So it's the Park and Rec Commission, the Library Board, the Library Foundation, Friends of the Library, the Santa Fe Golden Heirs, Santa Fe City Schools, and the Santa Fe Chamber of Commerce, although we haven't told those
You were
last.
able to rattle that right off.
This is not the first time we're talking about this, although the last year we haven't actually told them yet, so we gotta talk to them at some point. But I think this is, most likely gonna, the intent is that this group will meet at key points throughout the community engagement and design process. Those are all groups that have vested interest in this new facility. And we wanna kind of give the opportunity to get that input, and then also to have kind of a consistent community representative voice throughout the process. So we're expecting that we'll meet at least 4 times. Kind of been a few around. It'll be similar to how we did the Terra Linda master plan. It'll at different points, after community engagement, after conceptual design, kind of getting getting feedback. So yeah, that's probably be with it over the next, when we're hoping to have a consistent group. So it'll probably be over the next year and a half or so is my guess.
What are the groups that you're thinking of again?
So it's the Park and Rec Commission, the Library Board,
Okay.
the Library Foundation, the Santa Fe Golden Heirs, the senior citizen organization based here, the Friends of the Library, Santa Fe City Schools, and the Chamber.
Be great if you could get some youth somehow.
I think we're gonna do
Or someone, something special.
Hoping that we'll be able to do some focus groups,
Yeah.
some tailored partnership actually going into the schools.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm assuming one of the Santa Fe City School rep will probably be one of their community. They've got a lot of different folks that we work with all the time who are really their family oriented, serve the whole district. But we do want to also, particularly Davidson, try and get into the schools and do a little bit of outreach that way.
Okay, so shall we start with the chair and vice chair or chair?
Yeah, and I'd recommend, I think since there's 3 or 4 things to decide here, maybe treat them individually. You could do, a nomination and then, go through the vote process for each one of those. But I think just as a summary again, so I think if you follow the BCC rules and guidelines, you'd be appointing Vice Chair Pasternak as the chair. And then based on, I think all of you, everyone else has served as chair at one point or another in the past. So based on years of service, the vice chair appointment would then go to Cicely Emerson. You would become the vice chair. So that's what would, just based on the guidelines, what we'd recommend. And then you'd be assigning a new rep for Pickweed Advisory Committee, assigning a rep to the Albert Park Library and Community Center Stakeholder Committee. And then if you wanted to make any changes, keep that secret. Yeah.
I'll move to nominate Commissioner Pasternak for chair.
Second.
We do a vote.
Yeah.
You guys were fast on that one. All right, Chair Sandoval,
Yes.
Commissioner Cabrales,
Yes.
Commissioner Emerson,
Don't want it.
Commissioner Gutierrez,
Voted in.
and
Yes.
Commissioner Pasternak.
That's-
All right, motion approved.
Thank you.
And one just point of clarification, that would take effect January 1st, 2026 for these. So.
Yeah, thank you for taking that on. And are you open to serving as vice chair?
I mean, I have been vice chair and chair before, but I can go it'll be my swan song the last couple of years. But I'm fine with it, yeah.
Okay. Great.
I think you were lately, everyone else has done it. So we're circling back.
Yeah, I mean, it's only because I've, been around for longer than, it seems like a long time, but it's okay. I'm fine with it. I will support you in your chairmanship.
The one thing I'd say about that, I'd have to take a look again at when your term expires.
I just looked.
When is your term?
27, yeah,
27.
that'll be my, yeah.
So you would be vice chair for 26, and then if you continue to follow this, you'd then be chair for
Yeah.
27, for
Yeah.
at least until that term expired. So,
No, it's okay.
I'll move to nominate Commissioner Emerson, for
Thank you.
vice chair.
I'll second.
Great.
All right, Chair Sandoval,
Yes.
Commissioner Cabrales,
Yes.
Commissioner Emerson,
Yes.
Commissioner Gutierrez,
Yes.
and Commissioner Pasternak.
Yes.
All right, motion approved. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, for the Albert Park Library rep seat, I guess I'd like to hear from the commission at this point. If anyone has a desire to step up and serve in that role, then before we just jump to nominations, I'd like to hear from anyone who wants to serve in that capacity.
I do.
You do?
Yes.
Anyone else?
That's fantastic.
That's great. Thank you. Yeah, it sounds like they're really.
I'm missing the meetings are gonna be open, so if anybody really wanted to,
Yeah.
They actually are not gonna be Brown Act
Not-
meetings.
no, they're
No,
gonna be.
no, I mean, we would expect you to report back, I
Yes.
think, yeah, this is it's not a city council
It's
appointed
advisory.
board, it's gonna be a little less formal, kind of,
Okay.
and that's intentional to, Brown Act,
Not have it be, I get it.
yeah, it just creates a little bit of structure that might inhibit
Yeah.
the type of feedback we could get.
we haven't talked about this, but would you want like an alternate assignment?
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. It's not the first time it's come up. I
Yeah.
think I think that there would be an expectation if the alternate came, we'd want to make sure they were fully briefed
Mhm.
so that we could kind of continue forward versus having to backtrack, but
Yeah.
I think we do want to have the representation of each group at each meeting. So
Yeah.
if someone is unavailable for any reason.
Yeah.
We're hopeful with a 7-person group. We didn't want to go too big because we didn't want it to get so difficult to schedule. But things happen, we understand. So I think it would be appropriate if there was kind of an alternate if the representative can't attend.
Would any of the commissioners like to be an alternate on this?
I'll be an alternate.
You sure?
Yep, totally.
All right, I'd like to nominate Kala for the position as the,
Yeah.
whatever the name of the,
Yep.
the advisory.
Library Community Center Community Stakeholder Committee rep.
That one.
Really rolled off.
Should we do both in one
Need an acronym?
proposal? Commissioner Cabrales is the rep and
Yeah, we
Maybe
can
one.
use this late
as the alternate.
and yeah, I will amend my motion to include the alternate.
Thank you. I'll second that.
Okay, Chair Sandoval,
Yes.
Commissioner Cabrales,
Yes.
Commissioner Emerson,
Yes.
Commissioner Gutierrez.
Yeah.
And Commissioner Pasternak.
Yes.
All right, motion approved. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have the Pickleweed Advisory Committee rep. What are we gonna do about that one?
I'm
Does
happy
anyone-
to help with that or public art. I think I'm done in like May or something. My term was sort of
Is that May?
Take a look.
I don't know why I think that. I mean, normally they're November, but
We have a little longer than that, but let me take
Okay.
a look.
so I'll do whatever. Do you have it up?
Who's the new Steve Mason?
What's her name again?
Christy Hubacher is the supervisor down there,
Yeah.
so she'll be the
Sometime.
There are ones.
the staff
that are-
liaison to that.
Like, there are key ones that are, so the question came up.
We have you through October 2026.
October.
Yeah, that's when you're.
And you're public art now and you're
Yeah, I really,
leaving or staying or?
I really like being on the Public Art Review Board, so I wasn't gonna even let you guys vote on it. Because it's my last act as the chair, right? But I'm happy to switch, yeah, if you want to, because I know you've served on the Pickleweed Advisory Committee Board. I'm happy to if you would like to do the Public Art Review Board instead.
I have a strong opinion.
And I'll let you, I would
I'll nominate
you.
myself for Pickleweed. I'll go back over to Pickleweed.
Oh,
Yeah.
not a bad place to
It's not. Can I nominate myself?
Yeah.
I second.
Thank you. I know there's tough competition.
We got 5 positions in 5 years, so
Somebody's,
Right.
yeah.
no more committees.
Becky, we had a motion and a second for I think the pickleweed, yeah. Who motioned? Commissioner Gutierrez motion.
Oh, thank you.
Was second.
She's like, I don't get it.
Yeah, it's like who's
Yourself.
Who seconded that? I'm sorry.
I did.
Yeah.
Kayla. Okay, great. For some reason your screen went off, so I can't see you guys anymore. So that's why I was like, missed that.
Mhm. Mhm.
All right, I'm gonna take the vote. So Chair Sandoval,
Yes.
Commissioner Cabrales,
Yes.
Commissioner Emerson,
Yes.
Commissioner Gutierrez,
Yes.
and Commissioner Pasternak.
Yes.
All right, motion approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
And could someone go look at the setting?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's just
It looks on,
Mhm.
dark.
turned on. It's just there it's off.
It's just very dark.
It seems like there's like a something.
Like something
Cover
out
on
in
it.
front of it.
Yeah.
Looks like.
If needed, I could put my
Brand new.
computer up there and use that
Like-
camera instead.
Strange.
Yeah, that's a network issue.
Yeah, it might be a network issue.
I can still hear everyone fine.
Right.
Oh, there's Greg.
Share contact.
I don't know if I can go like this.
There we go. You got
Bit.
a blur on that.
Sorry, I put myself in a weird spot. And then I can put this in front of you and that way we can still see.
Am I still up there okay on your screen?
Great.
Great.
Automatically turned
Oh,
itself
that's
off.
great, Craig.
I can almost get everyone.
Almost fit everybody. There we go. That works.
Okay.
No, it's
Yeah, that's good.
All right, just for good
I
measure, I
can
would,
hear everyone and, you know, all that's fine. I just can't see y'all, but I can now on the, with the laptop.
okay. Just for good measure, I guess I will nominate myself for a public art review board. See,
Okay.
I really enjoyed it and would appreciate the support.
And I don't think you technically need to, you're still in
Okay.
turn, but good to know that you're still having a great time. under the
Yeah,
Yeah, either.
Do we
Um,
need a second on that one or he's already on
Okay.
that?
I don't know.
Let's just vote. Why
Yeah,
not?
you can go ahead and make it official.
So, yeah.
So Commissioner Gutierrez seconded.
Okay, thank you. All right, Chair Sandoval,
Yes.
Commissioner Cabrales,
Yes.
Commissioner Emerson,
Yes.
Commissioner Gutierrez,
Yes.
and Commissioner Pasternak.
Yes.
All right, motion approved. Thank you.
Great, thank you. The next item on our agenda is 3D, the review of the Park and Rec Commission meeting schedule for 2026.
Yeah, so I included it in the agenda packet. I think we mapped out the dates for next year. We're recommending continuing with the third Thursday of every month. I didn't see any significant conflicts on my end when I mapped that out. It didn't conflict with any holidays. I didn't take a close look at the school calendar or anything like that. I mean, it's up to the commission if you'd like to recommend any alternate dates, but unless you see any really significant conflicts, I recommend we stick with that schedule. Of course, we can always modify it down the road, and we typically do. I think on an annual basis, we typically have to reschedule a meeting or two just to accommodate everyone's needs.
Do you have months we're going dark?
I do. I sacrificed my computer over there, so I don't have it in front of me. So I think what I recommended is a pretty similar schedule to what we saw last year. I think this year we had a couple additional months that we did not schedule a meeting. We didn't have anything to bring forward. But we typically have a 1 month in the summer that will take a pause and go dark. I believe I was recommending August of this year that we would go dark, and then December of 2026 as well. So
Do you need a motion to approve the calendar? I'll move to approve the calendar.
A second? I'll second.
Lots of voting tonight.
A lot of voting tonight. All right, Chair Sandoval,
Yes.
Commissioner Cabrales,
Yes.
Commissioner Emerson,
Yes.
Commissioner Gutierrez,
Yes.
and Commissioner Pasternak.
Yes.
All right, motion approved. Thank you.
Thanks, Becky. Next item is the staff liaison report.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it really kind of brief tonight. It's the last regular meeting for this group this year in 2025. I think we've shared a lot over the year with you, and I just want to thank you all for a really good 2025. I'm excited about where we're at, I think, as a library and rec department and as a city, and the things we've got coming up on the horizon. We've got a lot of great projects. 620 Canal Street is coming. We're doing some great work, I think, on our programming, our policy. We've got a great team that we're working with right now that's doing some incredible programming, and I'm excited for 2026. So I know we have our annual board commission committee, our celebration coming up. So I hope to see you all there in early December. I'll be looking forward to that. We do have a whole bunch of holiday events and things coming up within our department, so you can keep an eye on our social media and our newsletters for that. We'll be getting that out soon. I know community-wide, there's a bunch of stuff happening in the month of December, so I encourage everyone to get out there and enjoy it. Other than that, I want to see if there's anything that you want to share in your end.
No, I mean, I think we just kind of came off of a lot of big events with the Treat Walk, Dia de los Muertos, kind of that fall time tends to be big, and then you get hit with the holidays. So I think everyone's looking forward to January. But yeah, no, I mean, I think there's a lot of big projects. It's fun to have a lot of them wrapping up and complete and kind of start focusing on the Measure P project here, 620 Canal, all these things we had no idea were going to be happening when we wrote the Park and Rec Master Plan, but we adapt. So I think the cost recovery analysis is another one that's going to be really interesting to bring to this group and to see where we land with that, and then what we're able to build on from there when looking at our programming. I think a lot of the last few years has focused on the infrastructure and getting getting the framework we need to start tackling those infrastructure needs. And we're kind of there, and we're kind of just we've got the process in place now, which helps us roll through that more easily. And now we're kind of shifting some of our staff focus to look at more of the program side. So I think that's what you can expect to see in 2026.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope to see you all at the boards and commissions celebration, recognition, appreciation event on the 10th.
December 10th at Falkirk. Is that right? Yeah.
It is. I just RSVP'd because I was here.
Great.
Remember that day, to do that. So yes, it's the Wednesday, December 10th at 5:30.
Great.
I know, because I stay organized here.
Thank you. Next item is our commissioner reports. Any other reports of meetings, conferences, seminars from commissioners?
I spent a lot of time at Pickleweed this fall. It's so beautiful. So thank you for your work on that. And then Kayla was mentioning at the last meeting I was at, which was like a lot of months ago, that you won a bocce tournament.
Oh,
I believe I have now also won a bocce tournament. So I just wanted to share that.
Nice.
Table getting filled.
You
should have our own. Violation of anything. Mission.
Yeah.
As long as no city businesses.
Probably had one other thing, but no. Thank you guys.
In my other role as still as ongoing president of the Terra Linda Orcas, I want to thank the city and the Parks and Rec for that just amazing facility. It's been incredible. This is the last week of the season. The pool will shut down through February, which we're all sad about, but maybe 1 year it will be year round.
Nothing to report. Appreciate everything that everyone has done this year, and always the partnership between the county and the city of San Rafael is always phenomenal and amazing.
Big one this year.
Yes, the canal fire.
Oh, I mean, 620 was a big.
620 is gonna be huge too.
I mean, it
So-
was county.
Yes, yeah.
County funded a lot of that
So,
project.
yeah, it's exciting.
Emergency response always.
Yes, exciting to see, and also we're just dealing with, trying to watch how the impacts of HR1 is gonna happen in terms of the community. There's a lot of concerns around food security. We just had an emergency operations center activation because of the SNAP benefit disruption, which turns out, is kind of like a hurry up and organize, but in the end, it's good to come together, figure out how the long-term impacts of the HR1 will affect our residents, and it will, especially the healthcare impacts in terms of access to healthcare. We'll be having their health insurance premiums get more expensive with Southern California changing. So that's one reason for people to delay or not even have insurance. And then Medi-Cal, the rollbacks don't happen right away, but they happen such that there'll be significant rollbacks when you get to 2027. You'll see it starting in 2026 with people who, the immigration status will affect your ability to get Medi-Cal, whereas right now everybody can get it. So there'll be some serious impacts that, we'll be dealing with.
That happens in 2027, you said?
2027 is when the most significant really happens, but the immigrants happen now.
It's
Yeah.
already happening.
Yeah, well, 2027, there's be stricter rules, like you need to be quote unquote working, and they'll have more predetermination. So it's just more bureaucracy and paperwork, and so we won't see. But the downside is that all of the progress that we've made in the last decade with the Affordable Care Act and expanding Medi-Cal is all getting rolled, backwards. You guys watch the politics, so you understand where we're coming from. It's a bit crazy making, but the county's, ready to step up, I think, in partnership with San Rafael. So, interesting time. Yeah, we have to shift to food security as opposed to like health and wellness, prevention and stuff. But there is a new community health and prevention division director, which would be nice for you all to meet because she does do the nutrition planning. Her name's Anne Marie Young Ho, and she's really cool. So I'd like to see if you guys would want to meet her. If you haven't already. I mean, I know most of the other people. It's nice to have some new energy, but she is working on a lot of the tobacco prevention, OD free. Oh, and then we just passed our tobacco banning all of the vaping sales and minimum floor pricing law that went this week. So in the county area. So San Rafael is welcome to follow. I know it's a hard sell, but you never know.
Outside the purview of our.
No, it definitely is. I know. Informational though.
Yeah.
I've been spending a lot of time at Peacock Gap Playground with my kids, and kind of surprised by the 60-40 results. Honestly, I would say I'm curious if you have any demographic data with the votes, like obviously anecdotal, but younger people, parents, that I think it's overwhelmingly like no fence. So just
Take
the survey, it's open through Sunday.
Encourage people to take the survey.
yeah. So
I think
that was-
we need to hear from the community, right? So
because I know older people tend to vote more. It's probably the same with surveys in the community as well.
Yeah.
So just something to keep in. To
I mean, we've heard both, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not overwhelming right now.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So I think we need to hear. I
will definitely
Open
share
Sunday.
that.
You will.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
will share
because
that.
I mean, I think we will be making, this is an instance where the community's voice is what we are basing this decision off of. So we will.
Do we have a deadline for the?
Sunday, right?
Yeah, I
Through the weekend?
think the survey, I think initially we advertised was gonna be open until last week. We extended it through the 23rd. And I think if we feel like there's a reason to extend it and continue to collect info, we're probably open to that. But at some point, we're gonna wanna make a decision and use the data that we collect, so.
Okay.
So I think if you
I will
hear
socialize it.
if we hear kind of
uproar that like, oh, we didn't know, like, we need more time, like, yes, we can extend it,
I
but
don't think that we need more time necessarily. I just think
yeah.
hopefully.
I think we just need
getting
people
votes
to
from-
participate, right?
Yeah.
This will impact people who are at the park every day. Those are,
Yeah.
and we didn't publicize this survey widely because we really wanted it to be the people that use the park on a daily basis, because they're going to be the ones that are the negative impact is the flow and the ability to enter and exit the playground from different sides, right? And that most impacts the people that are there all the time.
Yeah. I will socialize.
And I would share, I think, like on a staff level, I don't have a strong opinion either way. I can see the pros and the cons of either approach. I think agencies take different approaches to these. It's based on each specific park. So like Catherine mentioned, I think it really is something we want to hear from the community.
So this is at the Peacock Park to want to build a fence. Did you engage Glenwood School in terms of putting it out to the parents? Because they're gonna have the most families.
That's what I was thinking of.
You know, yeah, you should do it.
Yeah.
You can do it. Send the survey out.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to get into.
I'm sure they have, yeah.
You know,
We did not, I can
We
say, we
didn't
did not
send it to
intentionally
Glenwood.
send it to.
We sent it to the HOA and we put posters at
The Peacock Avenue.
the park. Yeah.
Sent it to anyone that was on the project list. We
Okay.
did
Yeah,
outreach
definitely.
for,
So please help us.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's good to know.
feedback.
Yes.
Yeah. So if
That's
if
my
you
concern is because we
Yeah.
want people voting who are,
using the
want
park.
family, I mean, it's for the kids, it's for the families, right?
Yeah.
They're the ones
Yeah.
who are impacted at either way. So so Robert, maybe if we can connect tomorrow, and if you've got other groups that you think
Yeah.
will reach a different range of neighbors, let us know. And again, we can.
Okay.
That in my mind would be a justification for extending a bit, knowing that we missed a large group of people.
I also like, to be fair, I think it's like a close call. What is better? Like I could see positives for both ways.
Yeah.
So.
And in the comments, we got both, right? I mean, it's the dog excrement that's the real concern. But we did get a lot of people saying, no, please don't put a fence. Like, we love the openness. We love the ability to come and go from different directions. So we've heard, and it's
Okay.
we say 60-40, but we've had like 40 something participants, which
Right.
which for a small, is not low.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen that issue.
Because the dogs are just gonna go somewhere else. But yeah, I
The-
understand the concern because people don't want their kids.
Well, I think kids are stepping in it.
Sorry to ask another
You
question.
can step out the signage and,
Yeah. So if I may ask the question, even with this survey results, is our commission going to have a vote at the end of the day on whether or not this happens? Or
Would you like to?
Sounds.
I don't really know. But I guess I will just put on the record then, like with the dog issue, if you have a fence and the dog gets in, then they're like stuck with a bunch of that could also happen as well.
A lot of playgrounds have them.
I mean,
Cure
I
that.
would say that this type of a decision, we would
I agree.
typically hold at a staff level to, base that decision on what we think is in alignment with best practice, industry standard, health and safety of the community. I don't think we would typically bring something like this to the commission to make that decision solely. But that being said, I think if we're struggling with it and we feel like we need another voice to be heard on that, I could see us potentially bringing it to you. So, and this is, like you said, it's a close one. There's a fiscal impact here. There's the health, I think we're most concerned about any health and safety impact. That's the thing that we're basing this on. If we really feel like there is an issue there that this fence could help solve, there's definitely there's precedent on all of our other parts where we do see fences that help create that separation.
Okay.
So, I think that there's some rationale for it, but there's also other parks that don't have it. So.
And that's mainly for containing children, not for keeping dogs out usually, right?
Both ways, right?
I think Peacock's Gap's a little bit different because it's a bigger park. There is more physical separation between the grass and the play area. Like Sun Valley Park, they're right on top of each other. So you need the fence there for both containment and to separate from other uses. I think if we end up kind of coming with community input coming down the side of a fence is maybe not supported by the community. I think we'd look at other things. Like I know that the dog poop bag is like all the way at the entrance. So we probably get one of those there and see if there are other things we could do that would mitigate the health and safety issue. I think if we do still keep hearing, I mean, kids are tracking poop, kids are stepping in it, it's getting everywhere. If we keep hearing that and the health and safety issue does really raise farther, then that may be something where we have to just say, we know this is not the community's favorite option, but from a health and safety, we still have to do it. But I think there's some steps before that. If we really hear from the community, this isn't what they want, or this is not widely supported, I think there's other options we've been talking about that we'd take first before.
One other piece of feedback we have received in the survey is that a lot of people are interested in like more picnic tables and other amenities too. And so, you know, it's been helpful just to have the survey out there to gather this data one way or another. So.
Thank you. Yeah. With that, I think unless anyone has an additional comment to make, I'll adjourn the meeting at 7:23 p.m.
All right. 2025 is a wrap.